Yes, welcome to A.W.A.R.E's Friday, March 29th call on redeeming lawful money. Really excited to be sharing this information. Um, my name is Emilio here with A.W.A.R.E. You can visit A.W.A.R.E at areweallreallyeducated.com. I'm excited to share with you tonight some groundbreaking information to those who are not aware about how to get reimbursement back from the Treasury the lawful way. See, people have been emailing A.W.A.R.E inquiring about how they can get reimbursement back. When I do my consultations, there's not, I think, one consultation where someone does not ask me about getting money back, being able to tap into the Treasury, DTC, obtaining a black card, and there's never one straight answer to these things, because if you're starting out, if you're a beginner, you're an amateur, you still don't even know basic fundamentals, you can't really get the information pertaining to obtaining any funds from the trust, getting a black card, tapping into the DTC, fidelity accounts. Now, I'm going to share with you guys how we've been doing it here at Team A.W.A.R.E. Our clients, VIP clients, have been doing it. I do consultations, and people are wanting to, of course, again, get money back, and I'm always of the mindset of why not set off your debts first and foremost? Why not learn, research, educate yourself first before you dive into tapping into anything, okay? And people have been emailing A.W.A.R.E, contacting A.W.A.R.E, asking me on the consultation. So I thought it'd be fair and it'd be really awesome for many people to now get reimbursement back by using lawful money um, and understanding the differences of lawful money, legal tender. So I thought it would be great to share on this call how I and many others are getting refunded back from the Treasury and redeeming lawful money pursuant to 12 U.S.C. Section 411. See, this process will work for you if you have a job that pays you in checks and or any forms of deposits. You'll be able to utilize this lawful money redeeming process. We've got case laws to stand on these claims too. Now, again, I get asked quite often about being able to get money back. Now, for you guys that want money back, that want to be able to tap into the Treasury, well, this is going to be the way you do it. And if you're persistent, if you follow instructions, you'll be able to not only redeem in lawful money, checks and cash, but you'll be able to also learn how to open up a lawful money trust account. Okay, disclaimer: the information I'm going to share with you tonight is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This knowledge is not to be understood as legal advice. If you seek legal advice, find yourself a competent lawyer or accountant to help you understand this lawful money process to use for your benefit. Okay? Keep that in mind. Very important for you to understand that this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Now, what is lawful money? In short, lawful money is your path to freedom. Okay? Once again, people ask me, how can I get money back? How can I tap into the Treasury? Well, this is going to be your answers to many of you guys' prayers, especially if you're going to be filing taxes. If you haven't filed taxes, this is a great way for you to redeem in lawful money and change your status as well. So, according to Investopedia, lawful money is any form of currency issued by the United States Treasury and not the Federal Reserve System, which is privately owned. There's nothing federal about the Federal Reserve Bank, okay? It includes gold and silver coins, treasury notes, and treasury bonds. Lawful money stands in contrast to fiat money, in which the government assigns value although it has no intrinsic value of its own and is not backed by reserves, as so many people think, as they have led us to believe. Okay, fiat money includes legal tenders such as paper money, checks, drafts, and bank notes. Lawful money is also known as specie, which means in actual form. Okay. Now, breaking down lawful money, are you aware the dollar bills that we carry around in our wallets are not considered lawful money? Yeah, yeah, of course. Many of you are like, what? Get out of here. Or get it. Listen, guys. The notation on the bottom of a US dollar bill reads legal tender for all debts, public and private, and is issued by the US Federal Reserve, not the US Treasury. And we know that the Federal Reserve is a privately owned Gestapo corporation. Okay? Legal tender can be exchanged for an equivalent amount of lawful money, but macro effects such as inflation can change the value of fiat money. Lawful money is said to be the most direct form of ownership, but for purposes of practicality, it has little use in direct transactions between parties. Okay, I hope you guys are getting this because it's only going to get more interesting, and I hope you're sitting down. Breaking down lawful money. The Federal Reserve Bank Act of 1913, which established the Federal Reserve System and author, authorizes, okay, it to issue Federal Reserve notes, states that Federal Reserve notes shall be obligations of the United States and shall be receivable by all national and member banks and Federal Reserve banks and for all taxes, customs, and other public dues. They shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States in the city of Washington, District of Columbia, or at any Federal Reserve Bank. However, the Act did not explicitly define what lawful money meant, since some currencies that could be used by national banking associations as lawful money reserves were not considered legal tender. Congress amended the Federal Reserve Act in 1933 to include all U.S. coins and currency as legal tender for all purposes. The 1933 amendment extended the power of legal tender to all types of money, creating a dissension on whether paper money and reserves of the Federal Reserve Bank are lawful money. While some argue that Federal Reserve notes are lawful money, others tend to disagree, since the U.S. Constitution states no state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. Some believe that this is the definition of lawful money, and thus any payment other than gold or silver is not considered lawful money. In effect, the primary meaning of lawful money is legal tender, but a broader interpretation is frequently applied in certain contexts. Gold is money, everything else is credit. J.P. Morgan testifying to Congress in 1912. Supporting case laws. Federal Reserve notes are dual purpose notes. Volume 20, Action 31, Book American Jurisprudence Acts of Congress, Westlaw LexisNexis, 82 cases on lawful money not many know. Case 1982, Lewis versus Page, 1239, How to Read Court Case, Redeem Lawful Money on Form 1040, pursuant to United States Currency Code, Title 12, Banking Codes. Okay? The IRS Form 1040 changed on line 6. On the second page, you enter your income as a negative number by putting the income amount to redeem in parentheses. You can redeem funds for the entire year and get lawful money. So if you're claiming lawful money for this year, 2019, you enter the entire 2019 gross income on line 6. On the new 1040 form, to redeem lawful money is on Schedule 1, Additional Income on line 21, enter the entire income for 2019 and write it as a negative number. The demand for lawful money is written on line 21 as well and duplicated on line 22. State returns are on the last pages of Form 1040. So observe the standard deductions are also accounted for both federal and state. Okay. Introduction on lawful money. For example, purposes. Let's say John Aware owes back taxes from 2017 of $6,000 because John Aware endorsed federal notes in 2017 and did not pay his legitimate taxes for a few months that year. Therefore, the IRS is expected to deduct what John Aware owes from the total amount they are sending back. So let's say that they took 20,000 from John Aware for taxes in 2018. Since John Aware owes them from 2017, they would be sending John Aware back 14,000 because they deducted the 6K from the 20K. Is that understandable, guys? Okay? So next year, John Aware will get 100% of his withholdings back forever moving forward. He'll never have to lose a dollar to the IRS again as long as John Aware continues redeeming lawful money. With this lawful money process, this is how we end the feds. Okay? This is how you guys are able to get what's rightfully yours. Okay? Your unalienable, inalienable rights. Okay? Tax filing update for lawful money. The IRS changed Form 1040 on line 21 prior to tax filing for 2018. The line 21 other income lawful money deduction with the amount redeemed for the year in parentheses in the line 21 with other steps required is all there to properly claim the lawful money redeemed for the entire year to get your money back and not be subjected to income tax. On line 21, this has changed on Form 1040. Other income is no longer existing. The IRS has added Schedule for one to fill out if his taxes are more complicated than the normal American who endorsed the Federal Reserve all year and has no other means of income, deductions, credits, etc. as photo, as we're going to share with you in the photo. Pay attention to the language. We conclude that we will be making our claim for lawful money deduction on Schedule Number 1 or Schedule Number given the nature of lawful money and based on the language used in IRS schedules. How to write the non-endorsement for lawful money. This process is simple and will work for you if you have a job that pays you by check and works when you deposit cash into your bank account or any check for that matter. Non-endorsement on checks and cash deposit. On the back of checks or on the back of cash deposit slips, you simply write a verbiage which is the following: redeeming lawful money per 12 USC section 411 by autograph your name in red ink, all rights reserved, without prejudice, UCC 1-308. Note, autograph your name in red ink followed by all rights reserved without prejudice, UCC 1308. People are also doing it in blue ink as well, and they're getting remedy. And again, it could be your own preference because once you have the understanding, you have the foundation, the knowledge, the case laws, you can eventually create your own processes. Okay, so this is an example of a check being endorsed on the back, redeeming lawful money per 12 USC section 411. You put by John Aware, okay, all rights reserved, UCC 1-308, or you could just put by John Aware, and that's it. Again, people are having much successes. Team Aware, everybody's got their own processes, but we're pretty much across the board unison in regards to how we're all doing it with lawful money. Now, this is educational and entertainment purposes only. Okay, you have to do your own research. We're providing you the information, the research. If you go over to redeeminglawfulmoney.com, there you can get a free PDF on redeeming in lawful money per 12 USC section 411. Again, you should study, but these are copies of checks from the Treasury and from the state. Okay, as you can see here, this we had a whiteout private information, but here you'll be able to see that they have received a check, okay, from directly from the Treasury Department. And if I zoom in for you guys, okay, I'm not able to zoom in for this since I'm doing the video right now. I will put it in the, if you go to redeeminglawfulmoney.com, you'll be able to see the actual checks, okay? But you have to once again just know that you have the power, you have the ability to make things happen and work in your favor if you have the mindset, if you have the right attitude, if you're not looking at this as, oh, maybe this will work, or I'm not sure, I'm gonna try. If you have that type of mentality, then I wouldn't suggest you do this. Once again, you have to be assertive. You have to be able to go into these banks, open up a lawful money trust account, be confident, follow the instructions, be coachable, teachable, and trainable. And if you're able to do this and follow the instructions that Team Aware provides you, or anyone to that matter that is helping you with anything that you're doing, you're gonna have success. Okay, because once again, we're all having success here at Aware. Customers are having mega success as well, not only in foreclosures and child support and bankruptcies. And listen, lawful money is gonna be right now the best way for you guys to test the waters and see for yourself, okay, and be able to get your own reimbursements back. But keep in mind that there's many different ways to go about to get money back from your account, from your trust account, from your Sestake trust account. But you have to know that that shouldn't be your overall your main objective when getting started as an amateur, when starting to learn about your sovereignty, the common law, the constitution, law of the land. You should not be focusing on trying to get money back. You should be focusing on setting off your debts, studying UCC, okay, and and redeeming lawful money. And this is going to, in the next step here, I'm going to teach you guys how to um, use direct deposit. And if you get direct deposit from your employer or any form of direct deposit, what you need to do is make copies of your pay stubs. On the copies, you'll write the redemption verbiage and make copies of that. You keep the original and the original copies and send the second copies in with your tax filing. So depending on how many times a year you file, you send that over with your filings, okay? Now, the purpose of writing the non-endorsement. So we're going to discuss what's the purpose of writing the non-endorsement. The purpose of writing the non-endorsement on the check is to record it for tax purposes. Okay, so you need to deposit the check with the non-endorsement written on it, in blue ink is fine, red ink as well. Autographing your name in red ink, okay. But once again, you use blue ink and red ink for your autograph. All right. Again, people are having successes. They're even using black ink, whatever. It's up to you. I would strongly, because the living man and woman, you know, back in the day, they will sign their autograph. They will autograph by their blood. Okay, that's why it's red. That's why it's suggested to use red. Many people say it doesn't matter. Whatever you feel, whatever you think is going to work for you. I have my certain ways that I do things, and once again, once you know the foundation, know the fundamentals of whatever it is that you're doing, you're gonna have success. You just gotta be persistent, resilient. You gotta be proactive, not take no for an answer, and you will see for yourself how this information that is being shared with you and what you probably have read on the internet or have been told by someone who introduced you to common law, constitution, law of the land, sovereignty, you're going to see for yourself that this does work. Okay, especially when you separate yourself from the public to the private. Okay, when you establish yourself as a secure creditor, okay, and you become the agent heir of your estate, of your property, of your ens leges, your all caps name, your straw man, then you have standing, and you're letting these governments, these corporations know you're no longer a minor. You're of the age of majority, because that's how they have everyone, unless they have established themselves or they've put on the record that they're no longer a minor. Okay, and we'll have a discussion on that one day as well. They have you listed with the Social Security office. Look it up, do your own research. Now, if you just sign it with only your signature, then you are endorsing Fed notes. Okay, even if you cash the check, you still need to non-endorse it and make a copy. The check you cashed, or also write the non-endorsement on the check stub as well, so you can file it with your taxes. You want to keep records of everything that you're doing. Okay, remember Gene Keating, Patrick Devine, they always talked about it's always you, anything you make it a tax issue, because it's all contracts, it's all tax issues here, and you follow the instructions. You keep your paper trail. You have your endorsements, your copies. You keep it in a safe house. You keep it in an organized, um, whichever way you keep your items and your paperwork organized. And this is what you send over when you're doing your taxes. Okay, there's nothing to be afraid of at the bank, because many people, they have fear. Oh, if I go into the bank and they're gonna ask me these questions. Guys, listen, first of all, you have to be confident in knowing what you're doing is not only your right, but it's practicing what you, as a living man or woman, are entitled to practice, are entitled to use, because you are now not the age of, you're not a minor, you're the age of majority. So you know what's going on, you know how to conduct yourself, you know how to operate in the private. You're no longer operating in the public and claiming to use Federal Reserve notes. Okay, they left the solutions for us. Okay, we just have to, once again, research, educate ourselves, stay learning. Okay, be careful with de facto false information on the internet. You have shills, you have the feds, people trying to put out fake media about this powerful knowledge. Why? Well, because they want to keep sheeple from becoming people. Okay, now there's nothing for you guys to be afraid of when you go into the bank. Okay, those employees don't even know what the heck is going on. They don't even know that the Federal Reserve Bank is not federal at all. Okay, it's private. Okay, they don't know what a Federal Reserve note is, and they handle them all day. Okay, so the banking system is set up that way on purpose, so that they have uneducated sheeple working at the bank. you know I'm not putting anyone down that is maybe a banker, but just keep in mind that they are not telling people what they're doing behind closed doors. These corporations are not sharing with their personnel, with their people that are on the front line, what is really going on behind closed doors. Okay, try going into a different bank, and if they're giving you a hard time. Okay, but you can use case laws. You have to be persistent. You have to be confident. You can't go in there talking to yourself in your mind, saying, "Oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. What I do if they ask me this?" You have to be confident. That's why, what breeds confidence is studying, learning, knowing. You see, when you study, you learn, you know. No one can take that away from you. That's why I pride myself in studying every single day. I'm grateful that I was able to have an open mind over 20 years ago to start learning about computers and the internet, okay? And researching and educating myself, teaching myself, using the power of the internet to broaden my mind and my horizons, and be able to adapt to the times and with the information age, okay? So you just go into a different bank and don't say a word. Okay, if you have a check, you deposit the check, act nonchalant. Okay, and about it as if you do it all the time. Okay, and be confident. Just hand the check over and say, "I'm making a deposit." That's it. The teller might look at the check for a minute once you've endorsed it in the back. Okay, but she's gonna deposit the check, or he's gonna deposit the check unless you say something and ruin it. Just trust that they will say nothing. And if they ask you what you wrote, simply say it's for tax recording purposes. Okay? Once again, these people don't know what is going on, and it's okay. It's not your job to let them know, to educate them, to teach them at the moment. You're there to conduct yourself and to do business, and that's it in your private affairs. So, how to redeem lawful money to get refunded back from the treasury. Now, redeeming lawful money on Form 1040. During tax season, you can claim lawful money by redeeming it on IRS Form 1040. Since the IRS Form 1040 line 21 has changed, the IRS has added schedules for one to fill out if his or her taxes are more complicated than the normal American who endorsed the Federal Reserve all year and has no other means of income, deductions, credits, etc. Now, Form 1040, line 21 is other income, and since lawful money is not a Federal Reserve note, it constitutes as being a separate form of income. Now, you can either redeem for the entire year, or if you do not redeem the amount for the full year, write the redeemed amount as a negative amount by putting the amount redeemed in parentheses on line 21. Okay? Now, once again, if you're redeeming lawful money for one full year, put the total amount of redeemed lawful money on line 21 of the 1040 form. Now, are you aware of when do you put parentheses around a number? Parentheses around numbers could have different meanings. Here are a few definitions to know. 1. An amount in parentheses could indicate a negative amount, such as a negative balance in your check register. 2. Sometimes an amount in parentheses signifies a credit balance in an account, normally having a debit balance, or even a debit balance in an account that normally has a credit balance. 3. Some accountants use the parentheses to simply indicate credit entries. Amounts without parentheses are debit entries. And you don't need to know this if you have a CPA that's competent, that's knowledgeable, that's going to do their duties appropriately. Then you go to one. If not, you can go to redeemandlawfulmoney.com, and there you can get the free PDF. You're also going to be able to chat with someone, a few that will be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, pretty soon. They are getting all of this established. It's all in the works right now as we're speaking, because once again, this is very easy for people to do. It's very comprehensible. There's no way you can mess this up unless you really wanted to mess it up by not following instructions. And believe me, I see so many people, I speak to so many people on my consultations that do not follow instructions. They got the powerful paperwork that was prepared by the paralegals there at Team Aware, and they are told, they're given instructions, do this, do not say this, do, and they guide them and educate and teach, okay? But many people are not coachable, teachable, and trainable, and they wind up getting themselves in trouble by recontracting, okay? But they recontract, but for some reason, many of these people are happy with the outcome. Although they were supposed to go in there, get the matter discharged with prejudice, okay? But they do not follow instructions, so many of them don't have the successes that they could have, but are happy with their very own successes, and that's fine. Team Aware is is happy either way, as long as the customer is happy, and even if they didn't follow instructions but they feel that they got remedy and they're happy with that type of remedy, then so be it. Okay, now here's a suggestion for everyone asking what to do about banks using digital signing pads in lieu of the traditional paper contracts, and or banks refusing to allow you to add anything other than your name. This goes back with being assertive, knowing who you are and who you're not. They cannot tell you you can't sign this way, because who are they to tell you that? Are they an attorney? Are they a lawyer? Okay, are they trying to practice law at the bank, which you are not accepting their services, which would be, of course, not acceptable and not permittable under banking laws, under their job duties to give you any suggestions or advice whatsoever pertaining to any tax or IRS uh, things that you have going on, or that you're doing in your private or even public capacity. Okay, now take your business elsewhere if they're not if they don't want you to add anything other than your name. That's it. You keep it simple, move on. There are a lot of many other banks out here, many banks out here. Okay, you have credit unions, you have even private banks as well. Okay, you have banks, new banks that are popping up that are catering to cryptocurrency, digital currency. So guys, there are many options. Okay, once again, there's going to be some guidance. There's going to be some courses as well where you won't be left behind. You're going to be able to watch animated videos. You'll be able to get this information if you're someone that needs to visually see it. Okay, because we are over 80% um, beings that learn by visualization, by being able to see, and I get that. Okay, now you go to another bank. Okay, if that isn't possible, I would suggest that you ask firmly or insist that you need the paper signature card for the sake of tax records. You tell them your CPA said you need them. Okay? Try to maintain a thread of consistency. Every chance you get to state your claim in lawful money redemption, you take it. Okay? Do not allow for these banks, these bankers to tell you what you can't do when the law allows you to. Okay? Lawful money tip. If you're demanding lawful money, go into your online bank account and go to your account preferences or settings. You should be able to edit the names of your accounts. Usually, the default names of your accounts is checking or savings, but change it to lawful money checking 12 USC section 411. Please disregard the C that's there. That's a typo. Okay, and the same for the savings account. This is not a necessity. However, it validates your actions even further by proving you are redeeming your paychecks in lawful money. Also, it helps when bringing non endorsed checks to the bank teller. When they see the name of the account, they will be less likely to ask about your non endorsement. You may run into some, I'm going to say, some minor, I guess, some setbacks or some issues depending on, you know, if you're dealing with someone who really wants to be a nitwit, you know, if you're dealing with someone who doesn't know the banking laws, but you remain staunchly, okay, and persistent. Okay, you can get it down by asserting yourself. Um, when they were about to turn you away, that's fine. If you run into any kind of trouble, let them know you know what you're doing and that the redemption verbiage does not apply to them and that it is between you and the IRS. Be confident and in control of the situation. Once again, guys, a lot of you guys, don't follow instructions. I'm not coachable, teachable, and trainable. You will mess this up. But if you follow the instructions, very clear instructions, and you're confident, you know who you are and who you're not. By this point in time, after listening to a few of our calls, you should already have heard me say many times, know who you are and who you're not. Many of you are living as a piece of paper, which is your birth certificates, the all caps name, straw man, ens legis. Okay, you are not a piece of paper. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, the people working at the bank, just like mostly everyone else, are scared of what they don't know, and they don't want to lose their jobs. It's obvious, okay? It's clear. Many of these people are, you know, have nothing else to rely on. They have nothing else to fall back on but this job that they have, and don't like abnormal things happening. And though it's fully lawful, don't need to educate them. Okay, that's the bank's legal department to do that. To teach them about the law. Okay, just tell them that it's the way you endorse and it's for tax purposes. Okay, which is allowed pursuant pursuant to case laws. Okay, that we're also going to be providing to you if you go to redeemandlawfulmoney.com. Okay, now this is why you need to study and research. Okay, now Emilio read the contract and pointed this out to the person helping him. It's not easy, but it isn't hard if you know what you're doing, which is why I tell you to educate yourself and not just ask me to feed you the info. I'm not going to be at the bank with you. Okay? Again, I've read the contract to you guys before when we did a private call just recently. Uh, you know, if many of you guys know, remember I've been teaching this, helping people on my consultations. People have been getting consultations with me in regards to this, and this is why I'm coming at you now with a webinar with this information, so you can now get money back, okay, lawfully, okay, and you can do this, okay. You need to do this, and it's going to be on your own, okay. You know what you're talking about and can defend your actions when you study and you research and you learn and you got the information down packed, especially when it's so simple like this as well. Now, this is nothing complicated, okay. You're gonna do a great job when you go into the bank and you just act very nonchalant and just do what you need to do, okay. You got to be able to defend your actions, to know what you're doing as well, and you study these case laws, okay. Because here at Aware, what we're doing is we're creating a community of people, who are eager to learn, becoming aware, and, and most importantly, to do what they need to do to have success and be triumphant in redemption, in their redemption process, okay. um, our website and channel has served as an excellent feedback loop for spreading truth and enlightenment. We get so much feedback, so many great testimonials of people who are so very grateful. They have the attitude of gratitude, and these are the people that are going to have success. These are the people that Aware will accept their donations and will help these types of people out who are respectful, courteous, and kind, and compassionate and empathetic, because we have the very best customer service I've seen, okay? And I'm not saying that because I'm part of Team Aware and I'm one of their consultants. I'm saying that because I see other companies, I see other communities, okay? And many of these people will not tolerate you being rude or disrespectful. They're gonna tell you to go fly a kite, And this is why I admire so much about Team Aware and their customer service, dedicated to 100% customer service, and no email will go unanswered, even if you're making a donation or not. No email will go unanswered. Maybe you won't get an email as quick as you would expect, but you have to understand that your email will be responded to in the order it was received. Okay, this lawful money process works for digital invoices too. Okay, so you can also use it for digital invoices. See, everything is trust law. Okay, because we're dealing with fiction and nonfiction. Patrick Devine spoke a lot about how everything is trust law and how crucial it is to master trust law. We need to start living like we have full control of our Seste K trust. Okay, like kings and queens, gods and goddesses. Okay, our property to the system, when we sign our name to everything, becomes that. Okay, we the people are the trustees of our own trust. Every time we sign things, we should be making our demands addressed around our signatures, around our autographs. Now, to learn about taxation, you can read McCullough versus Maryland. The gist, the principle of taxation is you can tax what you create. So, what is being taxed? What did the state create? See, legal fiction, 14th Amendment, slaves. Okay, you no longer want to be a slave. You want to operate in the private. You no longer want to claim that you're a U.S. citizen. You're a state citizen. If anything, you're a national, but you're not a U.S. citizen. Okay, and if you claim to be one, well, you are under their jurisdiction. No doubt about that, unless you put in your claim. Okay, you have two options: endorse the Federal Reserve private credit system or redeem lawful money pursuant to 12 U.S.C. Section 411. Taxation is voluntary, guys. Okay? The Fed notes are debt notes. Okay? And they represent a paramount lien for the Fed. Look up 48 Stat 337 Section 2. Okay? So that means they could file claim against you for the debt owed. However, you enjoy the sovereign status of holder in due course. Being holder in due course saves you from claims being made against you. So the Fed can't file claims against you for the Fed notes. This is what's being taxed. Your income isn't being taxed because that will make the income tax a direct tax, which would be unconstitutional. The income tax is an indirect tax, and an indirect tax is synonymous with privilege tax. The income tax is the basis of the tax, not what's being taxed. It's the basis of the tax because your income is used to measure the degree to which you enjoy the sovereign status of being holder in due course. Are you aware? The $1 bill has two images: authorization, ownership, seals on it. Federal Reserve is on the left hand side, the Department of the Treasury on the right hand side. Make the right choice, guys. Start redeeming in lawful money. Okay? I thank you guys. Um, this has been much fun. Should You should choose the image on the right, which is showing you Department of the Treasury. Okay, redeeming lawful money for all transactions per 12 USC Section 411. When demand for lawful money, you're gonna be in power and operating on the private side when you do just that. Okay, and you also have the Federal Reserve Act remedy, Chapter 3, Subchapter um, 8, Section 411. Section 411, issuance to reserve banks, nature of obligation, redemption. Federal Reserve notes to be issued at the discretion of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System for the purpose of making advances to Federal Reserve banks through the Federal Reserve agents as hereinafter, set forth, and for no other purpose, are authorized. The said notes shall be obligations of the United States and shall be receivable by all national and member banks and Federal Reserve banks and for all taxes, customs, and other public dues. They shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States in the city of Washington, District of Columbia, or at any Federal Reserve Bank. No contract equals no obligation. The steps shared in this presentation are just the basics and should be your first steps to getting money back from the Treasury. If you follow the proper instructions and begin to apply this process, that puts money in your pocket almost immediately. However, you have to not stop here. At this point, you must pay it forward and teach others. Set yourself up in the private if you have not already done so. While you do not need to be an SPC to follow this process, we highly recommend you take the time to still secure yourself in the path to sovereignty. Separate yourself from public to private by becoming a secure party creditor. This process that we shared with you works at any bank. Okay, so if you created your private and creditor status, then you have proof of you are the agent heir of the estate, all capital strawman and lieges. You know how to operate on the private and you know the game of commerce. We are getting smart as a society, but unfortunately, people are not getting smart with the people in their inner circle. You know, I mentioned on the last call that we have to separate ourselves from people who are not vibrating on a high frequency. We have to separate ourselves from certain family and friends and associates who are not supporting us in our path, okay, in our journey, who put us down when we learn new things, when we wanted to start new things. We don't need energy vampires in our lives. Once you start eliminating the energy vampires, or maybe yourself are energy vampire, okay, once you stop becoming that or being that and becoming someone who is going to change the mindset, and if the people around you don't want to change their mindset even after you're sharing personal development, even after they're seeing that you're growing and you're prospering, you're becoming healthier and you're becoming more abundant and you have a better outlook in life, and you know that you're not a strawman, you're not an ens legis, you know that you're the agent heir of your estate, you know that everything they have told you and gave you since you were born has been a lie, and you're now becoming aware and you're awakening, and your pineal gland, your third eye, is expanding and it's growing, it's being decalcified. Eliminate the water with the fluoride. Stay away from pesticides and herbicides as much as possible. Clean your fruits and your veggies. Apple cider vinegar, baking soda. Soak in 15 minutes, then soak and rinse. And these are the things that's going to help you, by becoming healthier, by changing things in your life right now that are not serving you, like those friends and family members that I just mentioned. Okay. Times have changed. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in the world that many know, made predictions he was wrong on and missed out on many opportunities he thought were not going to be successful. For instance, Buffett had said Jeff Bezos has done is is something close to a miracle. The problem is when I think something will be a miracle, I tend not to bet on it. With cryptocurrency, Buffett has a long history of trash talking cryptocurrency, saying will come to a bad ending. Okay, but cryptocurrency is growing. It's the future. It's digital currency. It's being able to send money all across the world, no matter how much money, if it's $1 to millions, and paying less than a few cents of pennies, depending on which cryptocurrency we're talking about. If it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, you have over 2,200 cryptocurrency tokens and coins. Okay, so If you don't know about cryptocurrency, if you're not aware about Bitcoin, I strongly suggest you do research on that, because this is the future. This is taking the power out of the bankers, okay? And it's a private digital currency, and this is something that Warren Buffett didn't believe in either. So, quite like Warren Buffett and his predictions, most people's mindset is in the old times. As times change, so does the processes of law change as well. And many times people don't have success because they're not on top of the latest um, laws, and they're not on top of the latest um, processes that will help them in their sovereignty and their freedom, because they don't do the research. They're not learning. They're not educating themselves. They're making excuses because they have to work one or two jobs. They have a significant other. They have children. They have a life. They make all these excuses, but yet they go out every weekend. They go out to happy hour. That 1 hour in happy hour, you can take that 1 hour and study and research and educate yourself and become free, and be able to learn so much that you realize that the government is not your enemy. Okay, so opening a lawful money trust account. This is where you write your redemption verbiage for a lawful money account. The lady helping um, many people set up their accounts did not mention the endorsement on the signature card. One of the people on the testimonials that we have gotten recently said that the lady that was helping him set up the account did not mention that the endorsement, asked about anything about the endorsement on the signature, and did not say anything special or do anything outside of the ordinary. He just walked in and asked if I could open up an account with the bank, and they helped him, per usual. So after the account has been established and this person had deposited $40 cash right then and there, they started to receive of a little friction. So this is a testimonial, you know, that we had gotten. So another employee there, most likely the manager, was asking, him about the signature card. So she did not know anything about the redemption and started asking, him about it. And he did not lecture her. He didn't educate her. He simply told her it was the type of endorsement he wanted to use for the account. Okay, and that's it. You know, uh, of course she's gonna be confused. She's not gonna know what's going on. And then she told him that they don't inspect every transaction, and reference the Check 21 Act. So her concern was that his restrictive endorsement might not be acknowledged because the bank doesn't overlook all transactions. So since they went digital, so she was saying that the bank is not liable for any improperly endorsed transactions, and you're fine. You can't be afraid. You go in there confident that they may try to scare you and whatnot and bamboozle you, but you just go there and you make your deposit, and know that you're confident, and you've done your research, and you've done your own due diligence, and you do your endorsements on your checks from now on, and you're gonna have your remedy. Okay, okay. The account is still open with lawful money in it, and he says that he's still going to use paper checks with the written redemption verbiage for the sake of being thorough. So this is a testimonial that we got. Again, we have so many testimonials of people that are having successes. Okay, this is testimonials that people are having. Okay, people are following instructions. Okay, there's information overload. I get that. Okay, there is a lot of information out here, but when you establish yourself first, and you establish yourself from becoming public to the private, that should be your foundation, your focus, and then being able to, and you can do it now, redeem in lawful money, because people are having a lot of information overload. I know that. I consult with people that say so much to learn. Oh my gosh, there is, but you first have to just know that when you have your UCC filings and you have a lien on your estate, okay, and you have your trust account set up, and you have your national passport, okay, not a U.S. citizen passport, but a national passport, state citizen passport, then you're already established. You've shown that you've taking the necessary steps to establish yourself on the private side. This is why they are confused with many people are not having remedy because they're trying everyone's different processes. They're the supposed gurus. They tell you to do certain things that don't make sense, such as making you do things like print out, you know, dozens and dozens of so many copies and spend money on processes that do not work. Many companies are offering SPCs and the SPCs are incomplete. We're getting the complaints from people coming to A.W.A.R.E, letting us know their experiences with other companies. There's people out there that selling services and they're not professional. And that's the problem, guys. Don't deal with people who are not professional, okay, who are going to curse you out, have no respect for you. Stay away from those types of companies and people, okay, because we have to all be courteous and respectful. Even at times when someone is being rude and disrespectful, you can kindly and politely say, I choose not to accept your donation, do business with you, whatever, and move on, okay? So you must be vigilant on who you are learning from, okay? Read case laws. Learn and study the UCC3 to set off debts. Write negotiable instruments and learn how to write checks, okay? Our next call, we're going to be sharing the steps on how to open up your lawful money trust account. If you're interested in that service, you can go to redeemandlawfulmoney.com or contact aware at arewealreallyeducated.com. You can send an email at info@arewealreallyeducated.com as well. I thank you for listening. If you have a question, please ask it in the comments section below or on the right hand side here on YouTube. Stay aware. Peace and blessings.